Hello, we're having a great day today. I'm in sunny San Diego and we're at Balboa Park, and this is the botanical building here. And I'm going to be taking pictures with my DSLR camera along with a disposable camera, and we're going to be testing out, the difference. Should you buy a camera, or maybe disposable film cameras are still something that you can use in 2021. Let's get on with the pictures. So this box of the two cameras was $30, actually just less than $30. And it has been 6 years since I have used a disposable camera, I will tell you that. So let's just get it out of the pack, and we get 27 exposures, and it says 27, and let's get going with some pictures. Okay, so starting with our first picture here. Now on the left we have the Canon Rebel T7i, and on the right we have the disposable camera. That will be the case for the top 5 pictures that I show you. So in the slideshow, I just put the top 5 images from the film camera, and then found the identical, or as close as I could get to being identical, picture that I took on my DSLR. So this first picture, as you can see, the disposable camera, the lighting, the exposure, all that, and the brightness are just a little too high. So that could be adjusted. Now the quality of the scanning at CVS is not really the best, so you do have limitations with the stuff that you can do. And some of the trees are just a little blurry, but also partially that's because of the scanning and everything. But as you can see, it's not horrible. With just some basic editing, you could get it to look at least a little bit decent. Whereas you compare that to the one that I took on my DSLR, it's not a picture that I particularly like that much, and I was in a rush when taking all these pictures, so but it was fine. So that's just what it looks like. The next slide, we have, this was a little pond, I guess you could say, in the front of the Botanical Gardens building in Balboa Park. And this shows the limitation that you cannot zoom in on a disposable camera. So that's kind of what I was showing here. However, the colors are not horrible. They could be adjusted. Again, it's really not the best image though, and some of the stuff is kind of blurry. Let's move on. Okay, this is a water fountain that was right by the botanical building, and as you can see, the colors of the water. The colors of the water on the film camera don't actually look that horrible. If I was just comparing the color of the water, that honestly, I kind of like the color of the water from the disposable camera a little bit more, but it's overall not the best picture on either camera. But just out of all the pictures that I took on the disposable camera, is one of the top 5. Okay, now we have this one here, which obviously is way too bright in the disposable camera, where that building is. That could be adjusted, and then you could end up with, after a decent amount of adjusting, you could end up with a kind of similar image to what I got on the Canon Rebel T7i. It wouldn't look as good after all the adjusting, but this is one, again, not horrible, but not really the best picture. Okay, and then lastly, what I would consider the best performance of the disposable camera was of this theater building here. We were walking out towards the car, and I saw this entrance to the building, and I thought, you know what, I have one exposure left on the camera. Let's see how this comes out, and also the architecture looked interesting and pretty cool. So with this one, I actually like how the disposable camera, just the colors of it and the saturation in the design. Now, if I had more control over it, like if I was using a non-disposable film camera that's halfway decent, then the picture could definitely look a lot better. But comparing that one to the one on my Canon Rebel T7i, the Canon provided a more realistic picture, definitely more accurate. But the disposable camera, it's not that horrible of a picture, and that's kind of how I expected a disposable camera. Like, you have that little bit of a film look to it in a way, if you know what I mean. So there we go. Those are the top 5 pictures. Now let me show you the ones that are not so great. So the other 22 shots that I got. Okay, so the rest of the pictures did not turn out so great. The other 22 pictures, which are all here, let's just go through as like a lightning round. As you can see, even from where you are, I mean, these first few are just really out of focus and look pretty crummy. The lighting on all these that I took, almost all of them that I took inside the botanical building, with a little bit of a strange lighting, were all horrible. Now, the ones that I took on my Canon T7i did not have this problem. Now, if I had the settings set wrong, then it would have had the problem, but if you adjust them accordingly, then they'll be fine. So as you can see here, like this one, the flower's just not in focus at all. The close-ups with flowers on disposable cameras are a bad choice, I will tell you that. And all of these are horrible. So if you are using it outside, not super close up to anything, then that's probably your best bet for getting your pictures. It was definitely still fun to use the disposable camera, I will say. In the process of developing the pictures at CVS was pretty simple. It took them a week and a half to do the pictures. I basically dropped off the disposable camera. It was $14.80, and that's pretty much it. They give you this little thing here to put that they give them to you in, and they also provide a Kodak photo CD, which is how I got the pictures onto my computer to make the little slideshow. But overall, for the disposable camera, I would say, CVS did an okay job. CVS is probably not the best choice because you do have a lot of other options. If you have a film scanner at your house, then you can obviously scan them yourself and just have them be developed someplace else. But overall, CVS, at your local CVS, you can develop disposable cameras, and they don't do a horrible job, and they don't do the best job. So average quality, I would say, would be what you get from CVS. And also the prints, if you look at my video that I did probably close to a year ago, you'll know that the CVS actual printing quality is not necessarily the best compared to what you can do at your house or at other retailers. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. As always, have a great rest of your day, and you're going to always subscribe below, and I hope you learned something.